So hello and welcome. You're watching Rev Sports, and it's time for 5 at 5. Yesterday it was from the East Coast when we were joined by Debashish Da and Shubhan Chakravarti from Cuttack. Today it's about the West, and we have Gargi Raut with us from from New Chandigarh, the Mulanpur Stadium, and we will obviously talk about the second T20I International. We'll preview that obviously, but before the preview thing, obviously it will start with what happened yesterday. It was quite a clinical win for Indian team, and obviously there were multiple heroes from bowling to batting, and more specifically if you talk about an all-round kind of performance from Hardik Pandya. And apart from that, it was the bowler show all around. One of the runs wise, one of the biggest victories for Indian team. And it answered a lot of questions also, be it about the experimenting thing or who will be in the 11 as far as Gautam Gambhir's vision for the T20 World Cup is concerned. One thing which we also which we can also take from that victory is this team will still work on the experiment thing, but we will talk about it, different combinations, the experiments, each and everything. But before that, let me go to Gargi. You are in Chandigarh. Tell me about the weather, tell me about the dew factor, tell me about what you are having, as far as the conditions and the situation is concerned. Are you there at the new Mulanpur Stadium? Because you've been there in IPL, I think playoffs time. You've been there. You saw you know about the conditions, that how it's like. And I remember you went there a couple of times earlier also.
I have been here before. Unfortunately, I am not at the stadium at the moment because because there's no practice session. The stadium was not open for media, and it's match day -1, so it wasn't open. I tried to call the PCA people and ask them if I could go to Mohali instead, the old stadium, but unfortunately, a Ranji camp is going on there, so that is also closed off for the media. So that only left me with the city center. So I am here in Chandigarh, and soon I will, shoot some video, show you guys around Lassi and Rajma and everything. But otherwise,
I think a little
weather's
late for Rajma now. It's time for the sunset, and I think Rajmas will be gone.
why, yaar? You can have Rajma for dinner.
Means they prefer
You
it
can,
in the lunchtime. No problem with that.
I know, I know. I was a little late because my journey journey also got late. But otherwise,
Sure.
if we talk about the weather here, it
Yeah.
is cold. It is not very very cold, but it's definitely a little bit chilly here. You will have to, the kind of weather where you have to wear one jacket or one sweater. But at the same time, I think dew will be a huge factor because of the way that I've seen the temperature suddenly drop in the afternoon after the sun goes down. So dew will definitely be a factor. And since I've seen a couple of matches here, I've seen, I think, I've seen one in the old stadium and one in the new stadium. But from what we've seen at Mullapur, you know that it's going to be a nice balance of bat and ball on that surface. It's not a very batting paradise sort of surface. You know that it's going to give a little bit of assistance to the fast bowlers at the beginning, especially in the first innings. And throughout, as the game builds up in the second innings, it will also give a bit of assistance to the spinner. So I don't know, but I have a bit of a hunch that if Kuldeep Yadav comes into the game, it could very well be tomorrow that he comes into the playing 11. But it could be otherwise as well because you already have an Akshar Patel in the team. So you don't necessarily need Kuldeep Yadav to sort of come and give you those breakthroughs because
Sure.
anyways, the bowling lineup has been so penetrative against South Africa. But yes, dew will be a huge factor. And I just told you about the surface that it's going to be a good contest between bat and ball.
Sure. As you mentioned about lassi and rajma, I can give you some names that, obviously for as hub of the city is now it all taken by the Elante Mall, but before that it was Sector Satara, the market of Sector 17. So you can check out those places. It's really good for shopping and for, all the
I've
evening
been here
snacks
many
and everything.
times. I've
Yeah.
been here many
So
times.
yeah, there
Already
you go.
explored all of it.
So now to someone who doesn't explore places, Bharat sir, what what we shared in Dubai means, I remember that I think we only shared that meal in Dubai where we went to a restaurant and have, I think, different kind of meal together. I don't know whether you were part of that outing or not. But yes, talking about the game. Do you think that there is still something which this Indian cricket team is trying to find out as far as the combinations and the experiments are concerned? Are they really looking forward to play, a extra seamer, or they want to, play in these kind of wickets? Means this is what how I see it, that at the very start the ball is not coming onto the bat really well. When Shubman got out, when Surya got out, it looked like that they are very much habitual of playing through the line, and they are not timing it properly. So is that also a part of their strategy, that let's play on these kind of surfaces also? But we know that in ICC tournaments, Bharat sir, it doesn't the wicket doesn't behave like this. It's a more batting friendly wicket as far as the ICC tournaments are concerned. So your point of view on the wicket first, and then are they still trying to get the combinations right? What they exactly finding at this point of time? What's your hunch, or and what's your findings and observations?
Yeah, first of all, the wicket was a little bit up and down, I guess, in the first innings.
Hmm.
That is when, if you're a batter, you would want to play late. But in the modern day world of T20 cricket, you see batters taking on. They play little too early. I think that's what happened with Surya Kumar Yadav. He likes to play that whip shot. He likes to play that pickup stroke.
Yeah.
And we have seen in the past that sometimes he's a little too early into his shot, and that is when he gets a leading edge, or most likely an edge, kind of a thick edge towards mid on, and that is how he gets out. So I think that's not just a problem with Surya Kumar Yadav. I guess a lot of Indian batters in this team, when they get to play on a wicket that is on the slower side or stops a bit, they
Yeah.
struggle a bit, and that includes the Asia Cup final hero Tilak Varma with a side-on stance. I'm not very sure he picks the length early against spin, so he has had his problems against certain wrist spinners, certain spinners as well. Having said that, as you noted, you won't get this kind of conditions.
Yeah.
Most likely, you won't get this kind of conditions in the ICC T20
T20 World
World
Cup.
Cup.
Yeah.
And just want to add a point on Shubman Gill as well. I have
Yeah.
feeling, see, this is just my opinion, nothing against the man, but I just have a feeling that he likes to charge down the track a lot. But in this day and age of T20 cricket, somewhere is to also find other ways of going aerial, not just coming down the track. I think that could really help him in terms of ramping up his strike rate. So, as far as the Indian team is concerned, I think is mostly settled. But I go back to the small weakness. If they get a slow pitch in the T20 World Cup, if in case they get one, then if the opponent has a couple of good spinners, then they might come into trouble. Having said that, obviously there are question marks over Shubman Gill's strike rate. Although I'm pretty sure the Indian management will back him right through the course of even the T20 World Cup, and the same I think will be the case with someone like Shivam Dube. Though again, people are questioning about whether he should be in the playing 11 with Hardik Pandya also there in
Yeah.
the playing 11.
But I'll come back to this. When we talk about Shivam Dube and Hardik Pandya together, we have to look at this picture, that in last 7 to 8 months, second half of the IPL, from the second half of the IPL, you'll see Shivam Dube, his batting prowess is, it start diminishing a little bit. It's not the same Shivam Dube you talk about, that whenever he comes in front of spinners, and he'll bash them at any given point of time, and he can smash them anytime. You know that's the Shivam Dube we are missing at this point of time, as per my observation from the second half of the IPL. That it's not the same Shivam Dube anymore. Yes, he did really well as far as bowling is concerned, and there was multiple episodes when Bharat sir said this, that the bowling part of Shivam Dube, yes, it's on the incline part, but is the batting doing the same? Shrajni, I want to ask this to you, that you mentioned this in the Hindi live also. We're doing, I think, a couple of matches ago, when you specifically told me about the inclusion of Washington Sundar, but not using him as an all rounder. Here again, we are actually observing the same thing, that there is a place for a spin bowler also. Gargi specifically mentioned about Kuldeep Yadav, that can he get a chance? Because if you have a Kuldeep Yadav, a Varun Chakravarti, Akshar Patel, a Jasprit Bumrah, Hardik Pandya, and Arshdeep Singh, it's looking like that, against whom you gonna score. So are you also looking at in this manner, that include a Kuldeep Yadav rather than a Shivam Dube, or you think that And specifically when you are not using Shivam Dube that much. Yes, from the Asia Cup final, or you can say from the Asia Cup tournament, you are using him quite a lot. But is he your game changer as far as Shivam Dube the bowler is concerned? How do you see this? A need of a Kuldeep Yadav or a Shivam Dube as far as batting and bowling utility?
Well, when Shivam Dube came into bat yesterday, he was trying, but again, he was struggling. It was very evident that he was struggling and he was not being able to score runs. And the way he got out, he got bowled, if I'm not wrong. And I mean, the ball was also, I mean, the pitch was playing its tricks, definitely. But again, I think he took a wicket also. Uh, as far as of now, I think that the team combination is fine. And I don't think we need to go ahead with a few changes. Again, Kuldeep Yadav, he brings in the turn. But again, we have Varun Chakravarti, we have Akshar Patel, who can, turn the ball, who can skid the ball. And we saw yesterday, the pitch was favoring the bowlers as well. So, I mean, few
Yeah.
balls they were turning, and, Akshar Patel, the first wicket that he took, the ball, it went in. Although he's a
Yeah.
left arm off spinner, the ball went in. So it was skidding as well. So I think that we have two spinners and they are doing a good job. And on the other hand, Shivam Dube is giving us an extra option. He is
Yeah.
giving us the batting option is also there. Plus, he's giving us the option of an extra bowler. So I personally feel that the team combination is fine. Again, like you mentioned, that the spark is missing. But
Yeah.
as of now, I mean, when he was batting yesterday, the intent was there, but the execution was not. So that is what I would like to add.
Yeah, so that's what the main point is, Gargi. And I remember your tweet. I was going through means the Twitter timeline of my profile, and I saw your tweet, and the way you wrote about Hardik Pandya, that there's no one. If you compare, you don't have an alternate to Hardik Pandya at this point of time. The way he's bowling, the way he's batting, suddenly when he goes out of your squad, you think that I need another batter and I need another bowler. And suddenly you include a Hardik Pandya into your squad, and then you think, wow, we can add a bowler also, or we can add a batter also. So suddenly the inclusion of Hardik Pandya is like something you can't compare his inclusion with anyone else. There are very few cricketers in the world at this point of time. In this Indian team, I think there will be only Bumrah. You can't replace Jasprit Bumrah at this point of time. Yes, you can say that about Arshdeep Singh also, that you don't have a Arshdeep Singh also. But I think, on to be very fair, you don't have a Hardik Pandya replacement, Gargi, and especially in this kind of form.
100%. You definitely do not have a replacement for Hardik Pandya. Look at how you're suffering in Test cricket. Ever since Hardik Pandya has left Test cricket, have you been able to find, any sort of player that even comes close to the kind of skill set that Hardik Pandya brings?
Sure.
At one point, I wouldn't even say that it's about skill set. Rather, it's about the kind of impact that Hardik Pandya has whenever he's in the team. Still haven't been able to find that in Test cricket. And now that you've gone through multiple injury breaks with Hardik Pandya, it also reminds you that Hardik Pandya just cannot be replaced at this point. And there are
Yeah.
multiple factors to it. One is the fact that Hardik Pandya, and we all know that sports has a lot to do with psychology as well. If a player is in your team that believes with all his heart, and yesterday also after that BCCI, was it for Star? I think it was for Star. The interview that he did for Star, and he, you can see the self-confidence in him that it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. I'm going to go out there and win the match for India. You have
Sure.
very rare players like that. If I were to think off the top of my head who used to think like that, there's an MS Dhoni who used to think like that. Then there's a
Yeah.
Ben Stokes who thinks like that. But apart from that, there's a Virat Kohli as well. But apart from that, you can't pinpoint on many players and say that this is a proven match winner. This is a player that if he walks in, he's going to turn the game around. Sorry.
No
And when
problem.
it comes to Hardik Pandya as well, as soon as he leaves, you've got two gaps to fill in your lineup.
Yes.
So really, when you look at it, what backup, who do you have to fall back on if a Hardik Pandya is not in your team? Which is why it makes it so much more important for you to manage his workload well, because he is fragile. He is injury prone. And if you walk into that World Cup without him, it's going
Yeah.
to be dangerous for India.
Yes. And when you talk about that interview, at this point of time, I can remember two interviews. So one, as you rightly said, it's Hardik Pandya, and he's categorically said this, that it's not what Hardik Pandya wants, it's what India wants. I never think like this, that what will be good for Hardik Pandya. My mentality has always been like, what's good for India, and Hardik Pandya will do it. Whatever is good for India, I will do it. I don't think about myself, that I have to put myself in front and then India on the back seat. The second interview I want to talk about is, it's the Arshdeep Singh interview. Two funny answers. Two means, what a gem of a person he is. So in a very serious tone, Dale Steyn want to know about him, that what he does, in last few months or so, in last 1 year maybe, that how does he change his mental aptitude as far as the game is concerned. And he said, look, when they didn't give me a chance in Champions Trophy, I opened my YouTube channel. The first answer. And second answer is, the host asked, I think Anant was the host, and Anant asked Arshdeep Singh that, when can we see a Jasprit Bumrah in your Instagram reel? Because the last reel you did means it's bang on, it's viral, it's over 100 million, because Virat Kohli is there. So he said that Jasprit Bumrah need to pick more wickets to come into my reel. That's quite funny from Arshdeep Singh. But Bharat, coming to this point, I'm hearing this from 2020 or before that also. You can also correct me if I'm wrong. There were multiple comparisons with Hardik Pandya, that now Shardul Thakur is competing with Hardik Pandya, now Vijay Shankar is competing with Hardik Pandya, now Shivam Dubey is competing with Hardik Pandya, now Nitish Kumar Reddy is competing with Hardik Pandya. There were many names versus Hardik Pandya. But it's not about one season or 10 matches where we can justify this debate, that yes, it's going neck to neck with Hardik Pandya, or even a Venkatesh Iyer also. At one point of time in 2021, after the T20 World Cup, Bharat, when India versus New Zealand, just after that World Cup started, it was Rohit Sharma who was giving overs to Venkatesh Iyer at that point of time in the New Zealand series. I very vividly remember this. And it was then the comparison was all about, because you remember that World Cup, Hardik Pandya didn't bowl. Chetan Sharma said that he will play as a batter, but he won't bowl. He bowled, in that World Cup, but it looking like that Hardik Pandya is not completely fit. So what Gargi said, that you have multiple players, but there is no one even close to Hardik Pandya. There is no one. If Hardik is 10, there is no one at 7 or 8 category, Bharat.
Yeah, first of all, you have to look at Hardik's bowling. So all these players that you mentioned, they don't come anywhere close to Hardik Pandya when it comes to bowling itself. And
Sure.
when it comes to an all-rounder, seam bowling all-rounder, the Indian management always, I think, first of all, looks for the bowling part of the arsenal. Because if your bowling is good, if you can bowl maybe in ODI cricket 8 overs or 9 overs, in T20 cricket all 4 overs, then you can easily be picked. What can Hardik Pandya do? He can hit the deck hard. He has good variations. He gets a little bit of bounce. His pace is pretty decent, 135 to 140 kilometers per hour. So none of the players that you mentioned come anywhere close to Hardik Pandya when it comes to bowling itself. And then you add his batting, where he's able to play all those strokes somewhere down the order. When the team needs someone to stand up, he's there to score runs, get 2 wickets. So that is why no one comes close to Hardik Pandya. It goes back to maybe the days of Ian Botham. People said David Capel is next Ian Botham. They said Dominic Cork is next Ian Botham. Bill Defritis is next Ian Botham. Kept on going. Ronnie Irani is next Ian Botham. Finally, yes, they
Andrew
found
Flintoff.
that he was reasonably good. Finally, they found some Freddie Flintoff and Ben Stokes. But until
Yes.
then, for 30, 20, 25 years, they kept saying some next year, Sir Ian Botham is coming. So I think that is what has happened with the Indian cricket. Yes, it's a little bit, what can I say, a little bit of, I feel a little bit sad that Hardik Pandya can't play Test cricket because his body is
Yes.
fragile. Otherwise, I think in Test cricket also, he would have helped India to strike that right kind of balance. But having said that, there's no one in Indian domestic cricket who comes anywhere close to Hardik Pandya, because none of them are anywhere close to Hardik Pandya when it comes to bowling itself. I think that is the key difference between Hardik and the rest of them.
Rohit,
Yeah.
Bharat hit the nail on the head there, because if you really look at Hardik Pandya, you can trust him with the new ball. you can
Sure.
trust him in the death overs. If you take, let's say, a Mohammad Siraj, for example, I'm not comparing the two bowlers, I'm just taking Mohammad Siraj as an example. Mohammad Siraj, being the lion-hearted bowler that he is, we've seen the kind of impact that he has in Test cricket. Does he find a place in the white ball format? No, he doesn't. Why? Because he's not good enough with the new ball, as we've heard, Rohit Sharma also say. After that, he's been unable to make a comeback. So if a bowler is giving you, and Hardik Pandya in particular, is giving you so much depth in one skill set, imagine the kind of impact that he has had versus a Mohammad Siraj, who's a brilliant bowler but hasn't been able to find a place in the team, and he doesn't even give you batting. So, that's the kind of, I'm trying to tell you the kind of impact that Hardik Pandya has had and how much gap there is in the team if you don't have a Hardik Pandya in the team.
In between,
I would
I'm
like to add
thinking that
something.
in between, I'm just thinking that why our producer is shuffling us like Indian team's head coach shuffling the playing combination. He is also
It's the batting
trying
order.
to. It's the batting order. Rohit Juglan in middle, Shajni in right, and then Gargi on left. Yeah, Shajni, you can carry on.
So what I was saying is that we all know T20 format. It is all about being explosive when you come out to bat. So everybody they played a short innings. Okay, the innings were short, but we were 4 wickets down when Hardik Pandya came into bat, and
Yeah,
I
it's
think
80 for
someone
5
needed to
in 12 overs.
yeah, exactly. So someone needed to take the responsibility and play the long innings, which I
Yeah.
feel Hardik Pandya did. And I would like to add this fact that at the end when he was batting on 47, and there was this shot that he hit on the offside, okay, and it was a slower ball, and it was an
Yeah.
extremely difficult catch. Brewis was in the circle, he ran towards the ball, and I think the fielder from the deep also came in. I mean,
Yeah.
it was not a catch. I mean, he did extend his arm, Brewis did extend his arm and did try, but it was not a catch. But again, so he was on 47, and when the innings ended, he was on 59. So that 12 runs, that extra 12 runs. And the point is, in a pitch where when South Africa, when they were batting, Jitesh Sharma, the keeper, he took 4 wickets.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, 4 catches. So when
Catches.
a keeper is taking 4 catches, you understand that the bowler is getting some help from the pitch, because the
Exactly.
players are edging the ball. So over there, Hardik Pandya, he took the responsibility and he played an innings that he should have. Because the other players in the Indian team are batters, they were playing, but the long innings, the long responsibility, it was missing, which Hardik Pandya, he took on the
Yeah, sure.
responsibility.
So longer innings means they were facing a lot of balls but not able to score much runs. That's the main point, and that's why they were 80 for 5. Even Akshay Patel spent time, Shivam Dube spent some time there, but nobody could replicate what Hardik did. He was the only batter in that Indian team, apart from that Shubman Gill 2 balls 4 run. He's the only one who striked, I think, with a 210 strike rate. Otherwise, there was everyone who's struggling, and that's why I asked Bharat that question early on, that are they trying to put themselves in a difficult kind of scenario where they are opting, where they are knowing this, that this wicket won't be easy to bat on. If you want to score through the line, it won't be that easy. But Gargi, the main question remains the same. We are again not able to see good runs from Shubman Gill and Surya Kumar Yadav. That's the main question. And if we remember the Asia Cup, you were there, I was there. We remember the Australia series. Shubhanda kept on saying that we can expect something. I can totally I can totally buy this point that they are getting starts, but it's not getting starts now anymore. Because yes, there were a couple of good innings from Shubman Gill in the Asia Cup. Then there is good start from Shubman Gill in that Australia series also. I remember the Canberra innings. I remember, I think, one innings he played in Hobart or in Gold Coast. He played, in Gold Coast he played a good innings. But it's not about those 30s and 40s. If you are an opener or a number 3, number 4 for a team like India, and a player of a caliber with Surya Kumar Yadav as, or Shubman Gill as. So I think the big questions remain the same. That are you how much will you can add to their name, that yes, they are good players. We all know they are good players. Yeah, they are good strikers. We all know they are good strikers. But it's time for them to score heavy and score big, Gargi.
100% Rohit. And I was having this conversation today. I was just, wondering if India were to play a World Cup game tomorrow, will Surya Kumar Yadav and Shubman Gill, based off of their form and the runs that they've made in this year, will be able to warrant a place in the playing 11? The answer is no. And that really haunts India, and that should haunt India. And we can understand where the concern is coming from the fans as well, when they say that, Surya Kumar Yadav hasn't been able to make any runs. This year itself, I just took out some stats, and less than 200 runs scored by Surya Kumar Yadav this year. So
And it's over
that is
25 innings, Gargi. It's over 25.
exactly,
We are not taking a sample of 5 or 10 innings. It's 25
exactly.
innings. Yeah.
25 innings, less than 200 runs. So that is.
I think there is some network error as far as. Should we wait for Gagi? Bharat, similar question to you. That what can we expect as far as Shubman Gill? How do you see this debate? Yes, we know they are getting the starts, but the batting position of Shubman Gill and Surya Kumar Yadav, you can't buy this point regularly that they are scoring those 30s and 40s. They have to score big, Bharat.
Obviously, they have to get big runs, and someone like Shubman Gill also has to, if someone likes it or not, has to look at his strike rate as well. At times, it feels as if his strike rate is a little bit low. See, the problem I guess with Shubman Gill sometimes is, as I noted, he charges down the track quite a bit. See, that's okay, that is fine. But in modern times, if you look at T20 cricket, bowlers, pace bowlers especially, are looking at the feet of the batter. Even spinners, they try to pick. Looking at your footwork. So when you charge down the track, they can definitely alter their length, alter maybe a little bit in terms of whether they're going to bowl the slower one or on those lines, and be leave. That's what has, I think, happened to Shuman Gill. And someone like Surya Kumar Yadav, one has to remember that is not getting any younger. See, someone who depends a lot on reflexes, hand-eye coordination. His body might have slowed down a bit because he has had his injuries. As Martin Crowe once noted, that one thing that you can't change as you get older is your body will slow down. It happened with even Sachin Tendulkar, great Sachin Tendulkar, when he was bowled by a wobble seam delivery from Team Southie in the 2012 Test Series against New Zealand, and he almost threw his bat, almost felt like he will throw away his bat in frustration. So it happens with everyone. Hopefully, Surya Kumar Yadav will return to some kind of form. But yes, both of them have to get 60s, 70s, 80s somewhere, because your top order batters or your top three, they have to get a lot of the runs. And Shubman Gill is a part of that top three, and Surya Kumar Yadav as well mostly bats around that slot. So if your top three are not getting runs, then it will put immense pressure on Abhishek Sharma to do all the hard work all the time.
Gargi, just want to ask,
Yeah.
before going to Shrojini, just want to ask that are you getting the local boy noises there? Because as far as this Indian cricket team is concerned, there are a lot of local boys there, a lot of Punjabi boys in this
Yeah.
in this cricket team. Abhishek Sharma is there, obviously a huge fan favorite. We know that what kind of fandom he enjoyed in Asia Cup during that Asia Cup in Dubai. There were a lot of fans around him. There were a lot of chatter around him. Then we have the Shubman Gill, the poster boy of this Indian cricket team. And then you have a Jasprit Bumrah. Obviously, he's also Punjabi. Then you have a Arshdeep Singh also. I don't know whether I'm forgetting someone, but there are a lot of Punjabi boys in this team. So are you hearing something like that? As soon as you landed in Chandigarh, what was it like in flight? Because it's quite a mess at this point of time to be in airport. A lot of chirping around, because what's going on as far as the aviation industry of India is concerned. So any experiences with that, or after landing there, anything like that?
No. But I will tell you one thing. I haven't had
Yeah.
much interactions yet with the fans or the crowds as of yet. But I will tell you, when it comes to Delhi, when it comes to Chandigarh, people here are crazy for Shubman Gill. Crazy, absolute batshit crazy for Shubman Gill and Abhishek Sharma. So both of these, are local boys. Last time also when I was here, it was IPL, and
Yeah.
Shubman Gill's team wasn't even playing. Neither was Abhishek Sharma's. It was RCB versus Punjab Kings, but still everyone was talking about Abhishek Sharma and Shubman Gill. And back then, Shubman Gill was newly made the captain of the Test team. That
Yes.
news had just dropped. So every
Yeah.
person was talking about Shubman Gill. People even came here wearing Shubman Gill jerseys, and we were like, "What is going on? This is an RCB Punjab Kings game. What is going on?" But they love him here. The two boys are of course, obviously, are very famous and are loved by everyone. But the point that I was making, about Sky
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Shubman here, was the
Yes.
fact that if you were to compare the three formats that cricket is played in, T20 is all about impact. It does not matter if you're playing 10 balls or you're playing, 40 deliveries. You don't necessarily have to come out there and play 40 deliveries with the bat when you can have the same impact in 10 deliveries. So that is the difference that Shubman Gill has been unable to make. Shubman Gill is capable of playing long innings. We've seen that back in England and in tough conditions as well. But what is missing here, the biggest factor is impact. He's not able to score those runs at the top of the order that Abhishek Sharma can, that Yashasvi Jaiswal can. Even Sanju Samson and that Abhishek Sharma little bit of partnership that we had seen going on was very, very impactful. Now that impact right now is missing from the Indian team. Yes, Shubman Gill can stay back and sort of play Virat Kohli-esque innings where he can anchor the innings and the others can play around him. But that has been missing as well. So it will have to be decided by Shubman whether he wants to go big and get that aggressive innings or does he want to stay back and anchor the innings. I think that's a conversation that Gill and the management need to have.
Shrajini, one question in a lighter mode, that what they have to do to win the toss here. They are losing lots and lots of tosses. Are there any trick remaining for this team? Any format, any captain, any ground, any country, they are losing tosses. Means if the similar thing will happen in World Cup also, then we have to be very much dependent on how they bowl on conditions which are pretty. The outfield will be pretty wet. The ball will be pretty hard to control. How much of a cross seam deliveries you'll be dependent on. I think this is not only about winning tosses, it's also about making yourself prepare mentally also, and obviously skill wise also, in an outfield which is pretty wet. And that's why I asked that question to Gargi at the very start, that what's the condition been like, because in North India at this point of time, it due like crazy. Means you will see 8:30 around 9, it will be all wet as far as the outfield is concerned, and then it will be really, really difficult. Earlier I remember this, and Bharat, I think also remember this, that earlier in the old in the at the PCA stadium, there is a nala around the boundary rope, जहां पे वो बाउंड्री बिलबोर्ड्स होते हैं, उसके ठीक पीछे. आई रिमेंबर अ टेस्ट मैच बैक इन अर्ली 2000s, a New Zealand, I don't know it was Nathan Hassel or who, but he scored a boundary and it went down to the nala. बिलबोर्ड को क्रॉस करके वो नाले में गिर गई और नया रेड बॉल जो है वो गीला हो गया है. अब क्या करोगे भाई? सो अभी ऐसी सिचुएशन नहीं है. At this point of time the situation is not like that, but Shrajini, we have to make ourselves very, very much ready for those kind of conditions also.
I mean, yes, the toss is a crucial factor, and we have been losing a lot of tosses. But again, on the other hand, what we have to keep in mind is the fact that, yesterday we did lose the toss, but the game went in our favor. So I think that is what matters the most. I think that is what matters the most. We have to win the game at the end of the day, because once we win, nobody's going to talk about the pitch, nobody's going to talk about the toss, nobody's going to say anything. The moment we start losing, that is when all the questions are going to come in. But again, like you asked me, the only answer I have to the question that how we can win is Kala Jadoo. That is the only thing we can do now. I don't think there is anything else we can do. But while we were talking about cricket and all, I had a question to Gargi Di. So my thing was that when we are talking about Shubman Gill and Surya Kumar Yadav, okay, we have Sanju Samson who can replace him in the top order, right? We do have that, because Sanju Samson in the lower middle order, he has not been very effective in the T20 side. But on the other hand, how do we fulfill Sky's place? Because at one point or the other, Surya Kumar Yadav has made an impact in the team, either with his batting or with his fielding. So how do we fulfill that place in the team? Because you just mentioned that the world, if India were to play a World Cup tomorrow, then we would not imagine Shubman Gill and Surya Kumar Yadav in the team. So how do we fulfill his place?
Unfortunately, Chaudhary, there's no black and white answer to this. Because if you look at Surya Kumar Yadav's, obviously we spoke about his numbers, 200 runs in the year, less than 200 runs in the year. But at the same time, the kind of impact that he's had as a captain, can that be replaced? No. Surya Kumar Yadav has been incredibly successful as a captain. So how do you do this? And who's your fallback when it comes to captaincy? Is it a Hardik Pandya? Because you can't trust. It's not about trust, sorry. Let's not use that word, but rather with the fragility that Hardik Pandya brings when it comes to his injury. He is incredibly injury prone. Will you risk and make a Hardik Pandya the captain? That is where that's where I debate Surya Kumar Yadav's place, because I don't think India is in a position where they can lose Surya Kumar Yadav as the captain. But at the same time, he's the kind of X factor that he brings, the kind of batting that he brings, and the impact that he brings. It needs to come back, because you can't justify his place for too long.
Okay, so this is about the preview of the Chandigarh game. I hope I took the questions as far as I was watching the comment box, and the questions were quite similar to what you guys were asking. But thank you so much for your questions. Gargi, as I said earlier, that you are in a lovely city. I call it a city for retirement. There's a peace in that city. The life is not that pacey in Chandigarh, and people obey the traffic rules. It's a very planned city, which is not, you can say, as far as multiple cities in India is concerned. So it's a very beautiful city. Enjoy, and we'll look forward to your coverage also. Thank you, Shojni. Thank you, Bharat. I hope I'll share something, as far as meals are concerned, with Bharat sir anytime soon in any away tours. But thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye bye, and keep watching Rev Sports.